Adam Ondra, the greatest of all time, the king of climbing, has repeated James Pearson's Bon Voyage in Annot, or as the Brits might like to call it, Annot, in France. Adam suggested that it could be the hardest route physically on trad gear in the world, ranking in at French 9A and a tough one at that. Or in British terms, E12. But nobody, not even most British people, know what that actually means. But perhaps the grade that's being discussed most around Adam's ascent of Bon Voyage is its being O3. That's the Adam Ondra scale of grading. This was introduced by those pesky wide boys Tom Randall and Pete Whitaker as the ultimate scale of grading. And it boils down to this: how many sessions did it take Adam Ondra to climb the route? Now in the case of an A0, that's an Adam Ondra flash. He did it within his first go. If he took one session, it's A1, 2 sessions, A2, and 3 sessions, A3. It doesn't matter how many goes he had or attempts he made within those sessions, it is all about the session. And in the case of Bon Voyage, it is O3. It took him 3 sessions in total, which gives you an indication of the difficulty more than E12 ever will. James Pearson made the first ascent of Bon Voyage in early 2023. It starts up his existing route, Le Voyage, before heading out left across a blank face on minimalist pockets before a technical arête leads to an exciting finale. There is some big fall potential on this route, and we gather there's some outstanding footage of Adam taking some falls off of the final moves up that arête, and we can't wait to see that once it's released. At the time of the first ascent, James was reluctant to offer a grade, suggesting he wanted to go and climb more hard sport routes at his limit to better gauge the level that he was at. A short time later though, he published an extensive article on the topic, announcing it as being E12. Now this is an emotional and thorny grade for James, going back many years to when he made the first ascent of the Walk of Life at Dyer's Point. He graded this E12, but it was subsequently downgraded to E9 by Dave McLeod when he made the second ascent. Now the quality of the route has never been called into question, just the grade. And at the time, James was younger and more impressionable, perhaps a little more naive than he is now. He's also developed significantly as a climber, particularly with regards to his sport climbing. And it's that ability that he's got from sport climbing, that additional strength, stamina, and endurance, combined with that trad heritage that has allowed him to make the second ascent of routes such as Jacopo Larcher's Tribe, another contender for one of the world's hardest trad climbs. Going back to Adam Ondra's ascent, he first attempted the line in February, with James there able to provide beta on hand. He worked the crux section and also worked that initial crack of Le Voyage in an effort to make it as smooth and efficient as possible, so that by the time he arrived at the crux of Bon Voyage, he was still fresh. After that, Adam took a quick break in a way that only Adam Ondra would, where he went to Gorge de Loup and repeated an 8C plus 9A rapidly, and then proceeded to go to Buttes, where he on-sighted an 8B plus and an 8C. Returning to Annot, Adam started to put in lead attempts on his second session, and on his third session managed to get through the crux and onto the arête before falling. However, Adam being Adam, unfazed, went back to successfully lead the line later that session. In terms of the grade, Adam said it would be a hard 9A if it were bolted. However, with the addition of placing gear, it felt harder still. Now the question is whether or not that actually means it's 9A plus. And I suspect that over the coming weeks and coming months, as we hear more about it, Adam will clarify further. To us, that sounds pretty much like 9A plus. Writing on Instagram, Adam said, "I am very happy and proud to make the second ascent of this James Pearson masterpiece. Not that I am an expert in trad climbing, dorm wall, but it could be physically the hardest route on trad gear in the world. It took me 3 days of work and I really had to put up a fight. The route felt very challenging in many different ways, and apart from being very run out, but probably safe, it had some very hard and odd moves where you really need to be a very complex climber. Understandably, James Pearson was over the moon to see Adam Ondra, of all people, repeat his route, and also confirm not only the grade and difficulty, but also the quality. And he had this to say shortly after. "I'm over the moon that Adam took time to come to Annot, to try the route, that he did the route, and that it gave him a more complete experience than he was expecting. He told me, for example, that when he did it on the actual send go itself, he still had to fight really deep at the top of the route, and that made it a really memorable experience. That's fairly similar to what I felt on the route as well. I'm really psyched that he's come, he's done the route, and that he felt it as hard as I thought it might be. But more than that, I'm just really happy that he came to try the route and had such an amazing time on it, and that he totally agrees with me. It's a real miracle of Mother Nature." So to recap how great Adam Ondra is, Adam was the first person to break into the grades of not just 9B+, but also French 9C. He's now climbed E12 with Bon Voyage. He's climbed the Dawn Wall, which sort of transcends grading as far as we're concerned. And he's also got the first ascent of an 8C+ boulder in the form of Terra Nova, which, given how hard Will Bosey's found it, could well be 9A. Or harder. No one knows. Adam and his team captured footage of his repeat of Bon Voyage, and we hope that that will be released over the coming weeks and months.